On everybody, LK here, back at it again with another video, and today we're going to continue my little pet project for Millia, the Millia guide for Guilty Gear Rev 2.1, the last version of XRD, for better or for worse. I basically played this character for the entirety of XRD, so I kind of have really broken her down into like tiny little nuggets. I really get her, okay? So, personally, I was kind of struggling on whether or not I should do Okazeme, like her knockdown game first, or talk about combos, but combos lead into Okazeme, so I think it kind of makes sense to go that way. So for starters, we're going to talk about mid-screen first, and general things first. So remember from the neutral guide, the first part, that she is what I consider a standard Guilty Gear character, so she has a certain set of tools and things that she has in common with a lot of the classic Guilty Gear characters, like far slashes you can't combo off of and stuff like that. So the first question people usually ask is, how do you convert off this if it's such a good poke? And the answer is, if they're crouching, you can convert into knockdown with Digitalis. That's 5H, 5S, 5H Digitalis. But if they're not standing, or if you're just doing this, you kind of don't get a combo, and it's okay. Like, it's okay. You should be fine with it. You can also use meter if you have it, but that is for later, right? If you're closer, you can pick a couple things though. You can opt to go into sweep, especially if they're big, you can opt to go into sweep. Or if you're close enough, you can actually opt into going into 2H. And this is her general combo that everyone should start with, right? Outside of this, like roll into Digitalis and close slash into sweep, you should start with this combo. Okay, so this is 2H, JSD, air dash H, S pin. This combo basically shows you the structure of every single combo she does. Every combo Millia does is something launcher, something into dust generally, air dash button, then you can continue depending what you do, or when you want to end it, you pick your ender, in this case, pin. Usually this combo comes with some boons and some issues for people. So the nice thing is that once you learn this combo, you could use it in a lot of situations. You could use it after a knockdown in the corner. Okay, you could use it after they jump in. But you might notice how like I tweaked it multiple ways. Like when they anti-air, right? I didn't do the S, or when I did it in this example, well, imagine doing Bad Moon instead of Sad Moon. Okay, in this example, I did like PH instead of IDH S pin, right? These little tweaks are what you're going to have to learn how to adjust on the fly. It generally relies on like height and what you want to do after. So let's talk about height. The nice thing about this basic combo is there is not that much to adjust. Like if they're on the ground, you basically do the same thing to everybody. If they're in the air, you can compensate by like removing buttons early or adding buttons later to get the height and distance that you want. Then you talk about the ender. So to start, you want to use pin, just S and H pin. H pin, you kind of go farther. The frame advantage is a little different, but you get closer to them. The pin gets like near you. S pin, you get good frame advantage too. It bounces a little differently. You kind of have to build these situations out. But once you get used to doing that, you can pretty easily adjust your combos on the fly. The other thing that gives people issues is comboing JD into air dash. If you rush this, you will always miss it. And it's not actually air dash cancelable. You have to jump cancel and then air dash. Thankfully, the move's kind of slow, and it has a lot of hit stun, so you have plenty of time to do this, especially with combos like these, where it's just pretty simple. You have plenty of hit stun and plenty of time to do it. So next, let's talk about the down selection. So there's technically a couple of ways she could choose to knock down. This is what I'm going to refer to as like ender selection or whatever. When you end your combos, and I'm just gonna do the mid-screen combo here, right? I showed you this with pin. This is S pin, so core circle back S. But you can do this a few ways. You could use S pin. You could use H pin. You could use, you could land on the ground and do hair car. You could land on the ground and do 6H into Lust Shaker, and you could do another one. Which what's the best way to set this up? This is actually pretty tricky to do off. I'll try it. It's pretty tricky to do off this combo. You can choose to do the bad rune down, which I screwed up because that one is awkward. So let's go through those. Okay. So the first one is S-Pin. What does S-Pin do? So S-Pin is hard knockdown from like pretty much any height. Like even if you do like dust. Like this is gonna knock. Oh wow, we pushed it to the limit. Okay. It knocks down from super high, has mad hit stun. You have to recover the pin, which is something I'll talk about in the next video. For Oxamics, it's more important for that. When you use it mid-screen, you can use it for like building certain types of mix-ups. We use it in the corner. It pretty much gives you auto timing for things if you want to land and do it. And if we're talking about oaking, I'm going to try to keep it brief because this is why the combo enders matter. It's what you want to do after rather than like the actual combo, if that makes sense. What the S-Pin ender gives you is the disc that makes it so they can't jump at all on wake up. Like if they try to jump, they'll get hit. That's generally what you do. Or it gives you the auto timing for doing dash up disc if you want to do that. H-Pin does a couple of things. H-Pin actually helps set up a burst safe combo and burst safe setup. You travel a little bit farther. Depending on how you do it and where you do it, it makes you land on the pin or makes the pin easier to pick up. So generally, you see people do it when the opponent has a burst and they want to like bait it. Something along these lines. Wow. Imagine doing a quarter circle with Hassan Waleed. Okay, right? So like something like this. Depending on how you do it, sometimes it's meaty, as in they can't jump. Sometimes it's late. It depends on a couple of factors, which I'll explain in the Okazami video. Next is hair car, right? So hair car is my go-to choice for doing what I call a late disc, and I'm gonna explain this very briefly in this video and much more in depth in the next video. But she sets two speeds pretty much. One is a disc that comes up, and I guess I'll do it like this. Maybe this will reach. So one would be when she sets a disc and you can't jump out, and one is where she sets a disc that you can jump out of, but she can hit you. So when you do hair car ender, it basically gives you the second one, the one where the disc comes up later, very easily, very easily. It basically works on almost everyone on the entire cast. The only character you can't do it to is Bedman. And you could do it from the jump. So with the combo we learned before, you can do it and like you're in there. Cool. Now the hair car, the Lust Shaker ender, that's with the first hit of 6 heavy into Lust Shaker. This was really big in Rev 2.0, not as big in this version because she needed a way to pick up the pin to continue her offense. Right? But you have to be pretty. This is actually like kind of tough to do. Some people prefer using this for their late disc setup to hair car. I prefer the former. And in this version, because of the last knockdown I'm going to talk about, you don't need to be so crazy about picking up the pin every single combo that you do. The last one, of course, being Bad Moon knockdown. So this is like one of the biggest buffs she got in this version. So it's actually kind of hard to do off 2H. Like if I had to think about offhand how I do it off 2H, it would be like, I think something like this. So the combos you have to do, you have to definitely build out these routes, and these ones are character specific and kind of like advanced combos. I'm going to talk about advanced combos in this video in a little bit, but once you add this to your game plan, then she becomes really threatening for a couple of reasons. So one is, and we're going to have to talk about why I really fucking hated her in Rev 2.0. So in 2.0, she used to have like this helicopter hair move that used to knock you down in Rev 1.4 and earlier in some, right? In Rev 2, they gave her this, and I was like, oh, and a lot of people were like, oh, you know, this is a kind of interesting combo tool. She'd be able to do some new stuff, and we thought that this move, Bad Moon, so once you get above a certain height, Bad Moon's properties change, but in 2.0, it basically did nothing. It just did a little bit more damage. In this version, it doesn't do more damage, but you can knock down with it. So what that means is that people can't use the Rev 2 strategy of, I have to see how many hits this is to show it. So like the 7 hits, right? So let's set the bot to burst after 7 hits. So, oops. Sanwa Lover's Man. Okay. So this was a very, very common occurrence. People would try to burst you away from the pin, and then you couldn't access her win condition anymore. You had to go over and get the pin again, and then hit them again. And because she doesn't do that much damage, generally, especially at that point, it just made matches obnoxiously hard. So she's still kind of like that in this version, unless you either choose to use Super Burst Safe Roots, which sacrifice damage, or use the Bad Moon Knockdown. The downside, of course, is that you need to learn a lot of combos and know a lot about how she hits other characters, which I'll try to make as easy as possible in this video. But those are basically the enders you're going to be picking for knockdowns, and we'll revisit this in a little bit. So next, I'm going to talk about RC and meter for a little bit. So generally, once Millia has 50 meter, one nice thing about XRD compared to older Guilty Gear games is that this becomes way better because you can always hit confirm it, and you can hit confirm it into the basic combo if you want. If you're a god, you can confirm, and that's actually not that hard if you're fishing for it, but you can confirm into Emerald Rain. There's no meter penalty, and you basically do the max damage. When you're really feeling it on some characters, things like sweep into Emerald Rain is a good idea, but for the sake of this video, just do it to Soul and try not to do it to any other character for now. Now, let's talk about corner combos and then move into advanced combos from there. So in the corner, so mid-screen, remember how I said, like, basically you just get this, and if it hits, you get a little extension. If you get anti-air, most of your hits you go into 2H, and then you go from there, right? Now, in the corner, there is much more you can do because she has this move. This is S-Disc, right? So, because S-Disc is a special move, she has way more ways to hit confirm moves than in mid-screen. Like, in mid-screen, for example, if you hit this is 6K. So if you hit 6K, you can link it, which I miss, because I don't play I don't play anymore, there you go. So you can link it into 5K and get like a little combo into knockdown. In the corner, you can do 6K into S-Disc. When you do 6K into S-Disc, they bounce off the wall, and you can link a bunch of stuff. So basically, when you hit stuff in the corner, when you're aiming to hit them, you want to combo into S-Disc into stuff. When you go into S-Disc, the basic S-Disc combo, especially if you're just starting, is you want to do like 2K to S or 6K into S-Disc, then up poke. It doesn't matter if it be 5P, it could be 5K, right? So we do 5K, JKSD into the same type of ender. And I can't air dash because I'm a bad player. There we go. Into whatever. Oh, he's still bursting. There we go. Into whatever ender you want. Besides Bad Moon. Bad Moon, remember, you need special stuff. That is your general combo for the corner. There will be times where you hit 2H, but it's not going to be that often. You should definitely expect to be converting with either, if not S-Disc, then like your normal, like, you still might get this in the corner, you still might get this in the corner. S-Disc sets up a bunch of little character specifics that exist. I'm going to try to share some practical advanced combos, and we're going to have to talk about Oki a little bit more too, because the thing about Millia is, like, so you build your combo plans, like I said, you start with this, and this, and you're mostly covered. But when you hit with Oki, especially disc, then they get hit in a way that they don't normally get hit by, and you have to kind of use special stuff. So, like for example, your basic confirm for mix-ups would be not 2H generally, or like S-disc. This works on some characters, but what you see people mostly do at a basic level would be to not drop that. To do 6H and then the standard combo into the ender of choice, right? And same for hair car, right? Whoops. Same for hair car. Wow, I really can't do corridors. Woo. Same type of thing. When you do sweep, same type of thing. When you hit 2K, same. You can use this as your general combo. But what you want to get to, the point you want to get to eventually, is that you use her new combo tools to add damage. She has the ability to add a bunch of damage if she wants. So there's a couple ways you're going to go about this. We're going to step back and actually start with 2H and S-disc. So remember her combos are broken down into like launch, air part, air dash, stuff, and then eventually ender, right? So to start, a good place to start is what I like to use as a kill combo. So when they're like near the end of their life bar, combo I use to really just like push damage, it's pretty simple as far as an advanced combo goes, would be something like this. But you need pin for this, by the way. Something like this, right? There's a couple of ways you can set up the however you feel comfortable ending it. If they're gonna die, this is actually the easiest way because they're going to die, right? So the assumption is you probably have meter of some sort. You do this, then try to add as much damage as possible, right? When you use H-pin, you actually pop up and can do more stuff. So you take advantage of the falling jump D here. So this is S, D, I, D, H, H-pin. J, H, D again, air dash, H, bad moon. Okay, D, H, D, I, D, H, bad moon, RC, and then more guts crush. They call it guts crush because your life bar at the end, you get like more, you take less damage, so you're trying to tack on, once you do as much damage as you can, you're trying to tack on as many single hits as possible, so Millia is pretty good at that. That should be the starting point for you adding damage to your combos. That combo is not very difficult, especially if you have the JD air dash down. You can get this down pretty much instantly, because you're basically just doing it twice, right? And from there, you get the foundation of her other advanced combos and how to put together advanced combos on the fly, right? So it comes in two parts. So the best way to display this, I guess, would be off a knockdown, because this is where I mostly do it. So let's say you hit like this, right? This kind of depends on the character. Actually, let's use S-disc as an example. This kind of depends on the characters. These are definitely character specifics. I'll try to like split it and be like consolidated as much as possible. But most of it involves like a re-jump of some sort into then doing the normal combo you would normally do. So here, for example, this is a soul combo. We do JKPHD. Whoops. HD, air dash H, and then you pick the ender you want. In my case, right, so I do re-jump with HD if I want to do a pin ender for whatever reason, and if I don't want to do a pin ender, if I want a bad moon ender, I do dash JK. Whoops, my bad. Let's do it one more time. Okay, I do dash JK into bad moon. Why? We're going to swerve a little bit and talk about Bad Moon specifically, because a lot of the reasons you choose to do advanced combos is to do your ender of choice or a Bad Moon knockdown. So the key, there's two keys to Bad Moon knockdown consistently. One is you get directly above them, right? I got too high. There you go. You get directly above them. I kind of messed it up. It's been a little while since I played, but you try to get directly above them and then you do it. Two is the combo counter really matters. Really, really, really matters. I think I kind of... This one is a little unstable, to be honest, on him. So why does the combo counter matter? Because you want this. This, like, dash JKD makes your life way, 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 way easier for these combos, right? Oh, why am I'm really messing it up on him today. I might switch characters for the sake of example. There you go. This dash JKD makes your life way, way, way easier because the JK is fast and it helps you get like directly above them. So you can, like, once you learn these, I'm gonna give you a couple of examples of advanced combo parts and then talk about weights a little bit. But once you get that down, you can put Bad Moon knockdowns pretty much wherever you want, and then just like start getting used to the different weights. So here's an example. Like the example I just used. Well, he's actually a little tricky to do this. I did too high, but you. Oh, actually, for him, this example of why some people don't like using it, but I think it's actually pretty important. I did it wrong. It's what I get for not writing my combos down for explaining things. Please forgive me. Yeah, this is what I actually do. This is what I normally do against him for that type of combo, right? Because he's actually a little awkward to do this too. If you really want to keep the Bad Moon knockdown simple, you can just do 6H SD double jump Bad Moon. That's pretty consistent and does a good amount of damage. I like pushing it a little bit most of the time. Like that. Another point about Bad Moon to keep in mind is that, and this one really struck me, so let's do a quick damage comparison, right? So remember this combo I was doing before, so you got... Okay, right? So this is like slightly more advanced, right? So we can start with the normal combo even. Right? KS, D, air dash, H, S pin, hair card. That's 111, right? And now we have the relaunch, right? KP, H, D, JK, D, air dash, H, S pin. If I can do quarter circles, Sanwa sticks. Okay, that did like a little more, 118, right? Now let's look at Bad Moon damage. So even though I didn't get to connect there, it does a little more, right? Without using your resource, which is pin. Pin is very, very, very valuable. You do 121 without losing your resource. So use another example, right? Okay, so this is what I said was the standard combo, right? Remember SD, air dash, H, S pin, hair card. So you get 146. Okay, now we'll do whoops. Wow, imagine missing combos I do all the time in matches. Okay, that did 155, and again, you didn't use your resource, so it can be pretty important, especially if you're thinking about like, do I want to do a late disc or a meaty disc? If you want to do a late disc, you don't want to think of like another little thing about Bad Moon I'm going to briefly mention after this. If you're just thinking about like, I want to do a late disc and they have a burst and I don't want to have to like bait it because they're waiting for me to use pin, Bad Moon knockdowns are super, 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 super worth it. And like I said, they're not that bad, especially if you choose to do like easy stuff. Like, again, this example, this is hair card, right? So this is like 161 with the standard combo. One day I'll be able to do quarter circles. Okay. Same, pretty much. This is 171 versus 161. So you did more damage doing a... Honestly, this combo, you could argue, is easier than the other combo. Right? The damage is going to vary depending on how many hits of Bad Moon you do, but you're usually doing about the same or a little more without having to do advanced stuff. Like truly advanced stuff. So let's move to actual advanced combos. So there's going to be a couple of things to mention. So one is going to be about S-disc things, and two is going to be about knockdown things. So generally all the advanced combos pretty much work the same. It's some type of re-jump, but it just kind of varies by character. I'm going to link a document in the comments with the stuff, not in the comments, wow, in the description with the stuff that I like to do, but I'm going to show like a couple of examples and how, like, tell you what characters I think stuff is easy on, hard on, etc. So let's start with double S-disc combos. So double S-disc combos. Faust is a pretty good example. This is going to be a character you'd want to start it on. Again, you want to do as much damage as possible because, like, if you could do even, like, not even the most optimal, but like 80% of the way, then you're killing in like 3 touches with Millia, which is kind of crazy. But the idea is, like, some characters' hitboxes are so big that you can push like this. I generally like to do this after, but you can pick whatever you want. This type of combo works on characters like offhand I would say like Axel. You could do it to Bedman, you can do it to Leo, you could do it to Johnny, you could do it to Raven. That type of double S-disc combo. Another one would be, while we're on Faust, wow, I'm not Faust, also I should actually go back to Faust because he has another one that I would suggest learning, because he's kind of popular. You can dust loop a couple of characters, and I'll show you an example with Faust. These generally come from mix-ups. I don't do it like the most optimal way, but just having them on deck, that I didn't even do it the right way there, but having them on deck is pretty useful. Like I said, it follows the same combo structure though. It's like relaunch, you do something, relaunch, and then you do the standard combo. So in this game, I think the dust loops are way easier to hit because you have the new jump heavy. You don't have to manually time it. This is like the old way of doing it. So yeah, I dropped it because it's been so long since I did it that way. S, H, D, 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 H, D, air dash, H, right? And you could choose to end with Bad Moon. It's a little tricky. It's a little tricky to do. I don't like using the air dash way, personally. If you get the height right, I don't think it's that hard, but you might find it a little bit tricky depending on how you do it. And you see that did like almost 50% on him. That did like a lot of damage. Remember, again, going back to knockdown stuff, is that basically everything you're gonna do if you want to push is some type of re-jump. Now you can choose the ender you want. Again, you can use H-pin or Bad Moon if you can use pin or Bad Moon depending on just what you want to do. The main thing is just setting up the re-jump. Another type of re-jump that comes up, actually you could do this to Faust too, so I might as well do it. Whoops. Is this, and of course you can set up Bad Moon knockdown here as well. Just like that. You can pick your ender depending on what you want to do. Okay, now another thing to talk about would be, is there any other damage routes I want to go over? or any type of special corner carry stuff, I guess would be like ad-libbing anti-airs. Talk about that a little bit. So let's actually bring out Soul once again. It's funny, talking about the combo stuff actually made me realize like it's a lot of combo stuff you gotta learn for her, but you can start in like a small spot. Okay, so let's. Okay. So while you generally with 6P you just basically do the same combo, 2H you basically do the same combo. You can't count on your 2H being a counter hit. 2H counter hit is a lot of like hit stun. The one you really gotta talk about that you can like freestyle and do a lot with is 5P. This 5P at a basic you should learn just do the standard combo, but you can push this if you're willing to put together the pieces of this advanced combo into this, right? So this combo part right here is relatively important. You could do it a bunch of ways too. You don't actually have to do it this way. You can do it a bunch of ways. As long as you reach the corner, you can do all sorts of stuff here. I'm a stickler for bad move knockdown, so I tend to pick this. Remember the dash JKD thing that I said before that basically gives you bad move knockdown for free. If you're a little closer to the corner, you could do some other stuff. Which is that other stuff is I do it so infrequently these days, but it's this. Pick it up and end with pin. And then you go from there. It's not really freestyle, it's basically the same thing. It just depends on how far away you are from the corner. If you are like really like if you're like here, there's not really much you can add. You just kind of have to knock down and run your game plan from there. Let's take a break and talk about weight for a little while. So in the game, there's basically 4 types of weights. If you do standard combos, the weight basically doesn't matter at all, but when you try to push your combos, the weight is going to matter quite a bit. So there are light characters. So light characters are generally like all the girls. So like Millia, Ino, Elfelt, Jacko, Jam, May, Dizzy, they're all kind of light. Then you have like your average characters, like Soul's an average character, Zato's average weight, Raven is average weight. Then you have like your normal heavies, so like I think it's only Leo and Slayer offhand. I don't actually know for sure. And then for super heavies, there's probably a couple other normal heavies, but for super heavies you have Kun, Bedman, and Potemkin. So you have that part. Usually weight affects more like your standard launchers or things that bounce off the walls, like your S-Disc stuff and like your 2H stuff. But it's also, the other thing you pay attention to is how big characters are, because things will connect differently on different characters. This affects a bunch of stuff. So for example, here's a character that you don't expect to be big in a normal way, but actually is. It's Venom. It is Venom. Now, if I was to do a quick profile on Venom as a character that you could combo, he is actually not that easy for her to combo. She has some special stuff on him, but the thing that is bigger than you expect is he's actually really easy to hit with /2H compared to other characters. As I proceed to not do it. Yes, here we go. This is around the spacing. Compared to other characters. Most characters this will whiff, but it will connect on him. Also, he is kind of easy to hit with sweep as well. He's kind of wide, so while you don't get like super special routes, like his hitbox is actually pretty hard to do stuff to, so most people actually just do nothing too tricky on him, just like very standard combo routes on him, even amongst like advanced choices. While people will choose to do stuff like that, you can confirm from mid-screen easier on him, a little bit farther on him than other characters, right? Another example of a character who you'd be surprised how they work is Slayer, actually. So Slayer seems kind of wide. He's wide in a really odd way. Like, he's really easy to sweep, but he's hard to 2H. Like, if you do, like, say, like... But if you do, like, sweep instead, this, like, from here it won't work, but from here it should work. You can sweep him from super, super wide. It's kind of odd. Combo-wise, like, hitting him, though, he's super, super, super easy to combo. You can do all sorts of nonsense to him because of the way his hitbox works, right? You can do all sorts of stuff to him, surprisingly. You kind of pick this up over time as you're building your roots together. Like I said, I gave you a really, really good base. Advanced combos only push it a little bit, but at some point, I do really, really highly suggest learning advanced stuff. If I had to say at a glance who are problem characters for comboing that you should get used to, or like you should just like be ready to concede this character is hard to combo. Elfelt, unfortunately, not only is a bad matchup for Millia, but she's also really, really fucking hard to combo. Ram, surprisingly, is actually really, really hard for Millia to combo overall. I think those two are probably the worst. Leo's like easy to combo, but it's weird compared to other characters. You have to like practice on him. And Chip, you would be surprised how hard it is to combo him sometimes, but he takes so much damage that it doesn't really matter. Now for characters that are really easy to combo, the easiest, outright easiest, is definitely Faust. Faust is super, super easy to combo. Dizzy is actually really, really easy to combo, even though she's light, because unsurprisingly, as you can see, she's quite thick, right? So she's pretty easy to combo. Sin is easy to combo, Johnny is easy to combo, Kum is super easy to combo, Mei is easy to combo, Leo, again, like he's weird, but overall easy to combo. And Potemkin is pretty easy to combo, and Axel is pretty easy to combo. So most other characters are pretty easy to combo. Bedman is easy to combo, but he has that little exception on you can't knock him down with like pin into hair car ever. It's just him. But you get used to that like, pretty quick. Besides that, I guess is pretty much it for the combo tutorial. Like I said, it's basically you start with the standard combo and just build out. You pick your ender, like what type of ender you want to do, and all the advanced combos are pretty much you do some type of thing where you land on the ground because of jump D or H pin, and then jump again and do more stuff. To wrap up, I guess, since I gassed up Bad Moon Knockdown a lot, for reference, in my experience, these are the characters that I would suggest definitely go for it, and these are the characters I'd be like, maybe not, or like keep it simple, right? Kum, definitely go for it. Sin also is quite easy. Chip, go for the easy ones. Millia, go for the easy ones. Ino is kind of a mixed bag. Practice on her, see how you feel, right? Dizzy, it's easy, dude. Go for the hard stuff. Faust is the easiest character for her to combo. You can make up whatever you want, it's gonna work. Slayer is actually quite easy to combo, and with Bad Moon Knockdown, and so is Bedman, and Jackal, and Jam, and I want to say Venom, but I am biased because he takes a lot of damage, so just do the easy routes. Remember, it's just like, in the corner, it's literally SD, double jump, Bad Moon, you're not gonna miss it. Axel, you can get away with murder on him. Zato is a little iffy. I feel like he's not that hard to combo, but go see for yourself. What character is this? Baiken is easy, pretty easy to combo. Johnny is super, super easy to combo, and he deserves to get max damage, so please, please, please practice on him. Elfelt, unfortunately, like I said, is really hard, not just to combo, but also to do the Bad Moon combos, so try not to do them on her if you can avoid it, or do like the easiest possible ones. Soul is like kind of like medium difficulty, so I usually learn combos on Soul and then try to like apply them to the cast. Kai, you can definitely push, he's kind of a big boy. Ram, similar to Elfelt, Bad Moon combos are pretty hard. Definitely do it to Mei, they're easy. Leo is again, weird. He has a special timing of his own, but then once you get it, you're not going to miss it ever. Potemkin is trivial, and Raven's pretty easy, so remember that list, okay? It sucks that, like, her bad matchups and weird matchups, like, it's kind of hard to do, but overall, it definitely helps your game plan out a ton. Hopefully this helps. Leave any questions you have in the comments, like and subscribe if you feel like it, and next time we'll talk about Oki, which means we'll still be kind of talking about combos, but we'll be more on the Okizeme side this time. I'll see you next time.